You'll have to wait till you're older. No dessert until after dinner. Maybe you'll get it for Christmas. Parents, you spend a lot of time telling your children to wait, to be patient. But the reality is none of us are good at waiting. None of us like to be patient. We live in a culture that is full of just instant gratification. You want something, you get it right now. We don't like to wait. We go to fast food restaurants because we want our food fast. We want it now. We don't like to wait. And so during the last 3 practices, we've talked a lot about patience. So during the first couple practices, we talked about courage. We've transitioned into patience. And so they were tasked with memorizing Ecclesiastes 7:8. It says, the end of a matter is better than its beginning. So it's better to be patient than proud. Waiting can be hard. Sometimes we feel like all we do is wait. So what if instead of always wishing for what was coming next, you decided to be happy where you are right now? And what if we took that a step further and tried to see what you could learn by waiting? How good would a basketball team be if they never practiced? Or they only played games? My guess is they probably wouldn't even win a game. The reality is that practices are important. We need that practice time to run drills, to work together, ultimately to become stronger and better on the court. We do good in games because we've practiced first. And so while it would be fun to just go out and play the games and never have practice, the discipline and patience that it takes to practice ultimately helps us play better when it's time for the game. And so God created us to learn, to grow. And so having patience means you understand it takes time to learn new things. And in the meantime, God wants us to trust Him. To trust Him even when we want to just rush ahead, and even when we want it right now. And so we need to trust God and see what we can learn while waiting. And so sometimes, though, we get tired of waiting. We try to take things into our own hands. You know what I'm talking about. We all do it. And so in Exodus, Moses led the Israelites out of slavery. In Egypt, they left. They're traveling out in the wilderness. So they left in some pretty awesome circumstances. And so God delivered them. He provided for them. And so now, here they are. They're wandering in the desert. And they found themselves wandering in the desert for 40 years. That's a long time. And so they got tired. They got tired of waiting. All this wandering was getting old. The people were getting frustrated. They were tired of traveling. And so it reached the point where they reached Mount Sinai. And Moses went up on the mountain. He was talking to God. God was giving him the 10 Commandments. But the people got tired of waiting. Honestly, they didn't know if Moses was going to come back. So they took things into their own hands. And so they took a bunch of gold jewelry, they melted it down, and they shaped it into a golden calf. Like a baby cow, little statue made of gold. And they started worshiping this little tiny statue that they just made as their God. They abandoned the God who had delivered them and provided for them, and they're worshiping this thing that they've just made with their own hands. And it's this sad story, but the reality is that we do that all the time. We take things into our own hands. We get tired of waiting on God, and we try to be in control. And obviously Moses eventually comes down off the mountain, and he is furious. But the reality is, we do it too. All right, we take things into our hands, fail to trust God. So parents, players, I pray that this week you would focus on waiting on the Lord, trusting Him, and seeing what you can learn while waiting.